Hey guys, it's Ciara and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing the next instalment of my back to school series, and I'm going to be doing 11 things I wish I knew before year 11. Number 1, it is nowhere near as stressful as people make out. A-levels, okay, you're allowed to be stressed about because they're going to be a lot of work, it's going to be very hard to have a social life. This doesn't compare. I found it extremely easy to have a balance between a social life and studying. It's not that stressful, and as long as you use your time wisely, you've got nothing to worry about. Number 2, work out what revision methods work best for you early on. And also, making revision resources from the start of the year and building on them is a lot better than doing a lot of revision in one block. You have a whole year, you don't need to do it all in one holiday, say April, Easter holidays. You don't need to do it all then, because realistically, are you going to remember all that information you've crammed in? Absolutely not. If you work out what revision methods work best for you, say if you're a mind map person, say you're a visual learner, then this is something that you can take into consideration when you're revising, and you can know that that method works well for you, so you have to continue doing that. If you know for a fact that just watching videos or writing notes does not work for you, which it doesn't for a lot of people, and that's okay, don't do it because it's not productive, you're wasting your time. Number 3, past papers and practice questions are a lot more effective than just making notes. For a lot of my year 10 and year 11 revision sessions and the studying that I did, I was literally just sat down watching a video and making notes on it, which did work quite well for me, but it might not always work for a lot of people. The best way that you're going to revise, and this is any kind of student regardless of who you are, is doing practice questions, because even if you're bad at the practice questions, you need to be able to find a way to do them. You need to know the methods on how to answer the questions, because in reality the end of the course you have to do the exam, and if you don't know how to answer the questions, then how are you going to get a good grade? You may be really good at the subject but really bad at answering the questions in the exam format, but there's nothing you can do about it. You've just got to practice and get better. So the best way to revise to ensure that you're doing it right and that you can consistently get the grades that you want is to do practice questions and practice papers, which you can find a lot of on the internet. So just type in the name of the qualification that you're doing and then just put practice questions or past papers, and loads of things will come up, and they are really helpful, so please utilise them as best as you can. Number 4, don't stress. As long as you are prepared and organised, you have absolutely nothing to worry about. When it comes to doing qualifications like GCSE'S and A-levels, organisation is very important. If you don't have organised revision resources, an organised atmosphere that you're sat in, and an organised mind, then you're really going to struggle to achieve the best that you can. I am somebody who absolutely loves organisation and planning and all things in that area, so if you ever need any help, you can just message me on my Instagram, or you can put it down in the comments and I will give you a response as soon as I see it. You can get an academic planner or something like that, which I didn't use in year 10 and 11, but I am planning to use from when I start college in September, because I've heard that they're really useful, so that you can organise your time really wisely, and so that you know what you're doing at all times, there's no time clashes, and you're prepared. 5, you don't always have to be doing active revision, but while you're getting ready for school or something like that, you could always put on a video in the background. I used to do that a lot when I was getting ready in the morning. I'd put on a free science lessons video or a Primrose Kitten topic overview video. It's really helpful, because although you're not sitting there and concentrating on the information and trying to remember it and retain it all, you will pick up small bits of it while you're not concentrating on something else, and eventually that information is going to build and you're going to know it a lot more solidly. 6 is be prepared for every lesson. If you get an assignment, do it as soon as you get it. Now I know that sounds boring. You may have been given a 2 or 3 week deadline. Just ignore the deadline. Imagine that you've got that assignment and it's due the next day or in 2 days time, because if you do it a lot quicker, then you're not going to have to worry about it later, and you've got more time to do your revision because you're not focusing on the assignment that you have to do. And I know assignments and homework and all that jazz aren't the best thing in the world, They're not everybody's favourite thing in the world, but you got to do what you got to do. So just get them out of the way and then you can focus on your other revision of the other topics on the qualification. Number 7 is have a realistic timetable. I emphasise the word realistic because I made a timetable and I don't think I even stuck to it for a week. You can make a timetable where you can be like, I have school this time, and then after school I do 4 subjects for 4 hours. No, it's not realistic, you're not going to stick to it. So set a small task to do for the subjects that you can do after school. So say you want to go home and watch 3 videos about this topic for this subject, and then you can tick it off and you don't have to do it again for another couple months, or you can revisit it the next week or the next month or anything like that. It's really important to be realistic, otherwise you're not going to stick to it and it's not going to be beneficial to you at all. Number 8 is treat the mocks like the real thing and work hard throughout the entirety of the year. This is really, really important. That's something I wish I did. I know obviously it was a bit different for me because we were in the year of the pandemic, so my mocks basically were my real thing, but we can't rule out that ever happening again, because although the coronavirus is now under control, something else may go mental in the next few years, and what if your mocks were really important but you didn't know it at the time? The purpose of mocks is that they are a practice exam to prepare you for the real exams that you're going to do. Although they're not your final qualification and your final grade, the point of them is to have an idea of what you're going to get at that moment in time, and then you can work to get the next grade when you do your real thing. So it would be really beneficial to have a good idea of what you're capable of when you've worked hard, rather than when you're like, oh, this is what I can do when I haven't tried, now let's do the real exam and see what I can do when I have tried. I think although there is good to be able to compare how hard you've worked and if your hard work pays off, it's also better to know that you've solidly worked for those grades and you can achieve them, and then you can achieve them again when you do your real exam, and then you're not worried about, and then when it's leading up to results day, you're not worried about, oh, I don't know if I could get this, because you know that you've achieved it before and that you're capable of it. Number 9 is use your teachers to your advantage. They are there to help you, and I definitely utilise them to the best of your ability if you can. I know for a fact even my English teachers and my maths teachers, I used a lot. When it was the night before an assessment, I'd email them and ask for advice and they'd give me a lot. Or you can ask for extra help at lunchtime or before school or after school if you really need it. You can ask them if they can send you some extra revision resources or some helpful websites. It's really, really good if you utilise your teachers properly, and that's how you're going to get the best outcome possible. And I definitely believe that I got my grade 9 in English literature because of my teacher and how helpful she was to me and how I asked for her help when I felt I needed it. Number 10 is revise little and often. Don't cram. Quality over quantity, and don't overwork yourself. Take lots of rest days. Now I know I just said a lot of information, but it's all basically the same point. If you spend, for example, 2 weeks leading up to an assessment or a big exam cramming all the information that you need to know into those 2 weeks, likelihood of you remembering it all is very, very slim. Whereas if you spend the few months leading up to the exam doing a little bit each week and then building on it, it's a lot more likely to actually go into your brain and you're going to remember it a lot better. At the same time, don't overwork yourself. You don't want to be doing loads and loads of heavy revision every week. It's just unrealistic and pointless because you're just working yourself too hard. You need to take lots of time to rest, socialise if you can. If you don't have a lot of friends, make sure you're spending time with your family and doing things that you enjoy. You don't need to be spending a lot of your time revising, although you have to keep up with your work and make sure that you're happy with the standard you're at and work hard. You don't need to be doing it all day, every day. And number 11 is don't put too much pressure on yourself. Don't allow others to put too much pressure onto you, and try and enjoy your last year of school. Even if you're going to sixth form where you went to secondary school, it's not going to be the same people that you're surrounded by and have been surrounded by since year 7. It's going to be very, very different. So just try and enjoy this last year of freedom. When you go to sixth form, college, university, anything like that, it's going to be a lot more hard work. You won't have as much time for a social life. Although you're going to have one, you won't have anywhere near as much time to have a social life as you do when you're doing your GCSE'S and you're in Key Stage 3. So just make the most out of it. Try and do things you enjoy. Take whole weekends where you just go on a trip, or if you're like me, you want to go to a concert every weekend, but do it as often as you can so that you're still enjoying yourself, but you're rewarding yourself for working hard too. those are my 11 things you need to know before you start year 11. I really hope you have found them helpful. If you did, please remember to like and subscribe. Let's get to 300 subscribers. It would mean the world to me if you guys could help me out. If you are going into year 11, then you're probably going to need some revision materials. If you don't have them all sorted, check the link in my description to my Depop. I'm selling a lot of my revision resources on there, and I would like to get them gone if possible. I'd really appreciate it if you could check them out and hopefully buy some from me. Comment down below any other suggestions for study related, GCSE related, anything like that related videos that you'd like to see from me in the future, and I hope you guys are having a lovely summer. Bye!